then actively listen. Don't speak too much. You don't need anybody speaking when it's not their turn. And you may not be able to say that to your congregants, but that is something that applies to you as a minister. If you want to minister, you cannot minister to people unless you give them that particular gap of silence that allows them to express themselves. Now, I'm pretty sure you don't want me to come to you and just not let you speak. Right? So in turn, when you're doing ministry, sometimes you feel like you want to say something, but you have to give them that gap. That you practice holding off thinking about how to respond or interrupting people until you have thoroughly heard what the other person has to say. So you be clear in what you have to say, number one. Two, you make sure that you let other people express themselves. Okay, we're reviewing 1, 2, and 3. Paraphrase. Paraphrase, what are we paraphrasing?
To ensure you are clear about what...
No. Paraphrase. Paraphrase. Number 3.
Share your own words.
Use your own words for what?
Words for...
To express what?
Someone else's idea.
Okay, someone else's idea. You heard something. Anna, did you say that? Or am I understanding you wrong? Or actually, the best way to put it again, just to be really direct again and actual, is to say, were you saying that your son will be here at 9 o'clock in the mornings, Monday to Friday? Okay? So I'm paraphrasing what was communicated to me, because one time I asked her, is your son going to be here? She said, yes, he's going to be. So the correct way to paraphrase, as far as, in my humble opinion, is to ask, is your son going to be here at 9 o'clock Monday to Friday every week through the summer? Alright? Because that's what I thought I heard. And then maybe if there's an adjustment, the person will say, oh no, not Mondays and Tuesdays, but Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Okay? That's how you paraphrase. Face to face. Please try not to use the technical. You want to say something, Anna?
Yeah, what was the first that you say?
Clear and direct.
Oh, clear.
Be certain of the information that you want to convey.
No. The second you said, let people express themselves. And the first one was?
Paraphrasing.
Paraphrasing is allowing, paraphrasing? No. That's active listening.
Active listening.
Okay? As ministers, you are expected to let people express themselves. Right? Because if they cannot express themselves, how are you going to understand what the problem is? Right? So that's active listening. That's one of the things. You quiet yourself for a certain period of time, especially when people are communicating. And sometimes people will pause. Learn to pick the pauses, meaning they're just pausing, they haven't stopped. Okay? Sometimes people are trying to think of what they're going to say to you and how they're going to say it correctly. You cannot, okay? You have to overcome the urge to open your mouth. Okay? And we all have that. Especially you guys, you have a calling for ministry. In the beginning, we were told, be bold in preaching the Word of God. Okay? So now we sometimes equate that with, so I don't have to listen, they should listen to me. No. Okay? But there's always a spot, if you are actively listening, you have to put a gap. You have to put a place there where you are silent. And you pay attention. And while you are being silent, you're not thinking, I better tell him that he's not right. You try to put all that down. Here, let me give you an extreme example. Even if there is dirt up his nostrils and you can see it flapping at you, you don't say that until the very end. Alright? When he's expressing his opinions and asking for your help, there's that booger and it's waving at you. Some of you can't stand that. Stop. Alright? You say that after the end. You take a natural place to say that. Alright? Face to face, we try to communicate directly in front of people. Try not to do everything by email because that's easy nowadays. Texting. Ministers cannot be impersonal. Alright? And we can be businesslike, and we can do that by writing our letters and putting it in the electronic media. But we are not called for that. If you will see, Jesus did not send messengers. Jesus communicated directly face to face. Number 5, be responsible. respectful. First thing, use the name. Okay? Use the name of the person. Don't say, hey, you. I used to say to people, you can call me whatever you want. Because sometimes they'll say, hi, Pastor Hector, hi. So what do you do? And I'm thinking, why are you calling me pastor? You don't know what I do. You know what I mean? And sometimes when they ask you, what do you do? These are people who normally want to criticize how I do things. What do you do? What's your schedule? What do you do here? And I just tell them, hey, come here every day and see and find out. Especially if I don't feel that I have to explain anything to you. What I do is on the bulletin. My activities, everything. And I have a routine. Most of you who've been here long enough know that I have a routine. So I'm expecting people to at least call me by my name, Hector. But I have people come here one time. When I was beginning, somebody came and said, oh, we know who the senior pastor is here. Really? Yeah, we met him. Oh, really? And so basically I said, don't worry about it. If the senior pastor thinks that you're fine, then you won't be in trouble. But right now, I believe the senior pastor thinks he should call the police and charge you with trespassing. Then, of course, one of the people here, Gloria, explains to the person, that's the senior pastor. Oh. Then all of a sudden the whole tone changed. Oh, wow, we just want to, really? Next time you come in front. I said, next time don't park near the jump, take the stuff without permission. Because that's robbery. And I said, do you have any, then I really got at it. I said, do you have any record? No, we don't. Oh, good. Then when I call the police, there will not be a problem. You're not going to prison. But of course, I did not, out of respect. Be respectful. Look them in the eye. Nod, Nod in rhythm to the conversation. Okay? Some of you have a bad habit of nodding. Everything they say, nodding, Oh, we ate pizza. The heck's wrong with that? Stop nodding. Okay? Watch yourself when you're preaching. Watch yourself. In fact, ask somebody to surreptitiously, you know what that means? Surreptitiously? Unbeknownst to you, surreptitiously put you on video. That way you can watch yourself in your natural. Brother Efren is very good at that. He'll catch you and you're in your natural, then he'll give you the video on your computer and you can watch it, and he will then delete it. He doesn't have to post it anymore. He just give it to you. And then you can observe yourself. Also, a good thing is to observe yourself when you're being paid for your messages. Now, being respectful live means, of course, do it paid face to face. You do it by using the person's name. You look them in the eye. You nod. You demonstrate that you understand what they are saying to you. If you are communicating in writing, please read. I'm reviewing these things because that's half your final. Please read, okay? In order that you don't have any typos and that you're sending exactly what you're trying to send. That it will not be misinterpreted or it wouldn't sound disrespectful. I used to hate when my dad does that before. Because he doesn't understand how a tape recorder works, so he will do the tape recorder and then he will say, do not touch this, I will come back and use it again. And I'm thinking, you mean to tell me I bought a tape recorder, I bought a radio, I bought a stereo, and I cannot touch it until you come back from work. And who paid for the stereo? That's it, To me that was totally disrespectful. But my dad said, well, you're trying to tape a reel-to-reel tape, and if you move it, then there will be gaps. I said, no, I will demonstrate to you that even if you take the tape out and put it back again, there is no difference. So they did not understand electronics. So when it comes to writing, make sure that you are not disrespectful. When on the phone, what did you say? Do not multitask. People can sense what you're doing on the phone. People can sense what you're doing on the phone. In fact, people, when they call me, they say, are you busy? I said, yes, I'm busy talking to you. Because people seem to think that, well, you're a pastor, so you must be busy. Yeah, But I did answer the phone, right? And now I'm talking to you, right? Okay. So they say, are you busy? And what is the correct way to answer that? To to say, no, I'm not being, oh, he's just being patient with me. No, I tell them, I'm busy, I am busy talking to you. Aren't I talking to you right now? You know, I'm busy. Right now, I'm busy. I don't want to be interrupted, and I'm talking to you. And staff knows that. When I'm on the phone, they don't bother me. All the questions stop. All the notes, except for some people. Some people will say, you know, they just want to cut in. I don't know, they have that kind of tendency. But nowadays, I walk around and I'm on the phone. Nobody tries to say, oh, can we talk to you? Unless it's an absolute emergency. And there's not a whole lot of absolute emergencies nowadays. Okay, so we have all that up to verse 5. Verse 5, then number 5. Number 6. Message and medium. Number 6. Message and medium. What do you think I'm talking about? Message and medium. What is that?
Medium is that like the one that would carry the message for you?
Okay, thank you. So, if you have a message and you have a medium, some of you are poor in writing things. Okay? Here's please, now with a grain of salt, listen to this. I have a friend, when he speaks to you, he's brilliant. But when he writes to you, I'm sorry, you envision an idiot. I'm sorry! When he writes, all of the personality disappears. Nothing makes sense when he writes. He has a doctorate. But when he's talking to you verbally, he's great at that. So I tell you, message and medium. If you are better at speaking, then speak your message. If you are better at writing, then write your message. In most cases, it depends on the message being delivered and received. When you deliver a message, consider whether it should be spoken or written, depending on the content, of course, the occasion. If you're breaking up with a girl, that's the best example I use because I'm a guy. If you're breaking up with a girl, try not to write it down. Try to have the guts to face the woman. You know, and there are kinds of messages like that. Well, women, I think, should do that too. You know, you say, well, you know, you call on the message machine and go, oh, by the way, I met another man. I don't like you anymore. Okay. Let's just be friends. Man, what an inappropriate way to deliver a message. So consider your medium. Watch how you say it. Watch where you say it. You know, what you use in order to convey your message. Right? That's message and medium. So some of us are better at reading. Then also look at the other person. Some are better when you let them read the message. Some are better when you explain it to you. There are some of you here, and that doesn't mean you're bad or inferior. There are some of you here, when I say something, you only understand certain things. And I've noticed that. And so I have to adjust to make sure that people understand exactly what I'm saying. You know, because people, and I'm talking including me, we have a tendency to remember the things that we would like to remember. And when people say things, we have a tendency to make it mean what we want it to mean. So we have to be careful with that. Okay? Now, the other thing. Next one. Any questions about message and medium?
So how would you define it, the exact definition of it?
That's good. I don't like the definition I have. I don't like the definition the book gave me. Define it for me. You have a message, you have a medium. Use your own words, paraphrase. You know? Because again, what I would like to see if you define this is for you to be able to tell me that this is the situation, this is the medium, and this is how I'm going to deliver it. And then you give the reason why. Because it is more effective this way. Okay? But you explain why. So rather than, for message and medium, rather than to give you the book definition, why don't you define it for me? For example, what do you normally do? How do you communicate to people? What do you do right now? I hope you're communicating to people because you know what? You're told to preach the word. Okay? So, in other words, I hope right now you are communicating to certain people what you desire them to do, what you desire them to be. Alright? And whatever this message is, define your message and then pick your medium. And then explain why.
Now, what is a medium again?
Medium? The medium is the way or the technology, either paper or verbal or hand signals that you use in order to communicate your message.
Oh, the tools that you use.
Yeah, you might say if you want to use tools and that's more conducive to you, okay. What I'm saying, it's not really tools, because tools normally is grammar, diction, pronunciation, tone, okay. So technically, yes, but if you want to remember them as tools, these are the things that you use to communicate. Your telephone, you use broadband, you use a microphone, you use your own voice, you use a pen, you use a typewriter, some still do. You know, some people now went back to typing because, you know, they said email is so impersonal. At least typing is clear and they know that there is a personal effort to it. Some people are starting to buy these typewriters again. Think about it. You know?
Okay.
Message and medium. Number 7. Tailor your conversation to the audience. Tailor your conversation to the audience. Define tailor. What is tailor?
Taylor.
Okay, let's go back. I bought a shirt when I was young, and I was sexier. I weighed 150, 160 pounds. Now, I go to Ross to buy my shirts. Back then, I did not know what a thrift store is. There were a lot of bad decisions I made in department stores. That's not neither here nor there. I digress. So I buy the shirts, but the shirts that are made here in America are straight shirts. They're shaped in a rectangle, okay? Where in my country, because I have an uncle and an aunt who are tailors, all my shirts follow the contours of my body. So when I was coming here in 1986, all my shirts were a little V-shaped. You will notice my shirts are not hanging straight down. They're hanging this way, you know? And they're a little wider in the chest, but very small in the waist, because I was a size 28 when I first got, which is very hard to imagine, because that's almost half my weight size now, you know? So, I have tailors in my family. So, when I'm in the Philippines, they look at me and they say, oh, this must be a poor man, because back then, the middle class and the rich people buy the ready-to-wear factory-made designer labels. And I go around wearing my tailored shirts. You know, the stripes on my clothes match the pocket. You know, the sleeves match the run of the cloth, the cloth. My buttons are hand-stitched. Okay, so as you can see, they can see that you have clothes made by the tailor and it was not that expensive. Okay, now I come to the United States and all of a sudden I put on my tailored shirts and I'm walking around, you know, and people who are Americans, right, because I didn't have as many Filipino friends as then. Americans start looking at me going like, man, are all your shirts tailored? Are all your pants tailored? And they can tell. And I'm going, is there a problem? You know, I'm thinking, does it make me small? I said, no. Where do you get all your shirts? Where do you get all your pants? Back then, okay? Do you import all of this from Hong Kong? Or do you have a haberdasher here in Los Angeles? And I'm thinking to myself, you know, what a time to lie. Oh, I get all my stuff in Los Angeles. Brooks. You know, because they're looking at the handiwork. And they're going, no, I have a private tailor. I have a private tailor, but he's in the Philippines. But I didn't tell them, I say I have a private tailor. So tailor, that word tailor means?
Fixed to fit.
Fixed to fit. There you go. Thank you. Did everyone hear that definition?
Right word.
Tailor means what? Can you repeat that, Sister Elena?
Fix it to fit.
Fix it to fit, yeah?
What did you say? Fixed to fit.
Stylish to fit.
Huh?
Stylish.
To stylish?
Yeah, I guess. But I think fit is more the operative word. Although yes, after a while, communication becomes a sense of style. Okay? It is good to have a sense of style when you speak.
Relevant, right?
Well, relevance is not style, right?
Uh,
Style is the ability to use words in order to make it sound attractive, therefore to make you attractive. And I am okay with that. But style only goes so much. Have you heard the statement, style before substance? See? Well, in communication, especially in ministry, we need to have substance. And so I like that. Made to fit. Tailor. Conversation to audience. Right? Communicating with your boss is different as opposed to communicating with your coworker. With a customer or supplier, there is a difference into how you should be able to communicate. Right? For a coworker, be direct, be transparent, and open-minded. And if a customer or supplier calls with a problem, listen carefully, apologize if necessary, even if it wasn't your fault. Do you remember that? I hope you work in customer service. I remember when I was working for Kraft Food Service, there were people, we were servicing Wendy's. Back then, Wendy's was a big chain, bigger than today. It's still big, it's still a strong player. But back then, Wendy's, do you remember during the time when Dave Thomas was the one that was doing the ads? And so they were big. Their stock went, and I bought stock, so I remember I bought stock at $2.75, all of a sudden it was $8. Next thing you know, it was $21. So they were a hot company, Wendy's was. And I was taking orders from Wendy's, meaning the franchisees, the operators, okay? Franchisees, people who bought the store. Operators, people that the company hired because these are company-owned stores. And they would call Kraft Food Service and they would place orders. This was my first job in food service. This was before my high-flying practice as a buyer, So here I was humble, I was entry-level, I came in as a temp, and I was cutting my teeth. And I liked customer service, but anyway, people will call, and sometimes they will order the wrong thing, especially if we just open a store. They will order the wrong thing or too much of one thing, and they will call the next day and they will apologize. And I had a standard line, I would say, it's okay, I'm trying to establish a relationship with you, and so, if I may say so, if there is a problem, why don't we fix it now? And they as soon as I say that, every one of those operators like me. My problem though was in the customer service back, there are 8 employees, they would call and say, I want to talk to Hector. And one Jewish friend of mine said, you're God, man. Everyone wants to talk to you. Salesforce wants to talk to you. Customers want to talk to you. You are God. And some of them, they will call and I'm not available. They will say, have Hector call me. And they will say, and I will call him back. I don't know if he's anywhere near. But I remember there's this Jewish guy I call Playboy Steve Gilman. He's a married man. He wasn't a playboy because of women, but he always goes to the Playboy Jazz Festival and sits there and just enjoys himself. Well, that's what he said. You are God. Now, of course, that is sacrilegious. I know I'm not claiming that to be true or anything. I'm just saying, because of that stock answer, if there is a problem, why don't you and I fix it now? Because until then they would go, I'm sorry we overordered. Well, it doesn't matter whether you overordered or I sent too much. There's a problem, we fix it now. And when you are able to do that, what happens is there are other things that they will do for you. They will tolerate you screaming because they're going to lose their order. Because there's a cut-off time. They'll do a lot of things. You'll make a mistake and they'll just say, oh, we don't remember who placed that order. Oh, we don't know. I don't remember who I talked to. Then they would call me and they say, you owe me one. And they'd be very nice to you. So, you have to tailor your message according to the audience. Right? Tailor it. Make sure. Right? Never address anybody in anger. You will be wrong. Unless you're the President of the United States, and even then he can still be wrong. If you are angry, try not to address an audience, whether one person or 2,000 people. There is one beautiful thing that Pastor Bermudez taught us last Saturday. I was teaching the Bible study, but Pastor Douglas has this penchant of adding his own twist to the lessons. He said, the older I've gotten, the more I have mastered the art of stepping back. Who saw that? I think it was last Sunday also when he said that. In the evening service. Huh?
Saturday.
Saturday. I think he said that also in the evening service. Because he started going, he started walking back. Like that.
Wednesday.
Is that Wednesday? Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Last one.
Alright. So, learn to step back. Don't ever be involved, okay, in the conflicts. And I mean, if we have time, I'll talk about that, conflict management when it comes to communication, right? But don't ever speak if you are hyper-stimulated. Okay? Hyper-stimulated. You know what that means? Okay, you know what that means? How you married people. If you're thinking about your wife, please shut your mouth. If you want to go home because she just called you, shut your mouth. That's not the time to talk. Right? If you're angry, you just had a fight with your wife, with a co-worker, that's not the time to talk. You know, you have to measure everything. One time I had a fight with this guy. You know, he was just bullying. I worked in an office in Glendale, just bullying everybody. So you know me and bullies. I sort of say, well, you know, if you kick the bully and you manage to connect, then nobody will mess with you. So this was the office bully. And he will have this habit of walking around in the office, and if you're there, he will bump you. He won't try to avoid you. Because, you know, he's bad, right? He thinks he's bad. So one day, and I was watching him, I actually made the mistake of greeting him in a bank, and I was reading. So he just, you know. So I said, okay, well, you know what? So he's a moron. That's me. That's how he is. That's how he wants to be. Then leave him alone. I don't want anything to do with him. So I'm never going to be social with him. I don't need to talk to him. I mean, I lose nothing by not talking to this guy or being kind. Nothing. Just leave him alone. So he walks around and walks around and cracks his knuckles in the office. You know, that's what he does. Now I'm looking at him just letting go. One day they told us, we have visitors, please put on neckties. So I went to that corner where there was coffee, because I pay for coffee, you know. I contribute to the cost of the coffee. I made my coffee, then I went to this picture that had a frame and covered with glass. And I stood there in front, my coffee right here, stood about 5 feet away, and I tried to tie my necktie. Well, he came in, you know, he went in, barely missed me, fixed his tie, turned around and hit me. He just touched me like that. And I was tying my tie, so I turned around and I called him a word that starts with A and ends in E. 7-letter word. And you guys know what that word is, right? And he turned around, and I'll tell you the bad thing is I lied, because he told people that I called him that. I said no. You know, I didn't call him that. Nobody was there. That was bad form. But before that, before he left, I told him, look, next time you're going to walk by me, I promise, I said, if you cough, I will let you pass. But if you don't, I will clothesline you. That's what I said. And then I turned around because I said, you know, you're like a little dog. You know the dogs when they're barking, you turn your back around and they stop. You know, I said, this man doesn't matter to me. So I just walked, went to my desk, started to work, and I was right in front of the president's desk. I started to work. And he came to the vice president, started crying to him that I called him this name, this and this, this and that. Then he turned to me like this, about this far, and said, you know what? We're not done yet. So I'm sitting there, the president is looking at me, I took off my glasses, I took off my watch, I stood up, now he's standing right here, the president's right here. And I looked at him and I said, move!
Oh.
Okay, just go outside. And then he started crying to the president again. You know, and the president said, you know what, Hector, he's not like that. I go, okay. So I sat down. But from now on, every single time, here's my problem. Every single time that guy walks around cracking his knuckles, I will pound on my chest. Every time I see him and we pass the toilets, I will spit on the floor. Every time I see him in the parking lot, I will spit. What? Okay, now, what's my point? When you're angry, you should never communicate. That started with me preparing for work. It was a normal day. I was tying my tie. See? Can you imagine what happened if that guy had a knife and he skins it? You know what will happen? Right? If he has a gun and he uses it, you know what will happen? Only two things will happen. Anyone know me enough to tell me what will happen? What will happen if he uses a knife or a gun? He will either use it and be successful, or that day he will die. That's the problem, but it didn't need to happen. See? So all my life I'm going on. Like Tarzan. It's a waste of time. So anyway, that's number 7. Alright? So review, because this is all in your finals, and be sure you're able to define. Be clear and direct, actively listen, paraphrase, face-to-face, communicate face-to-face, be respectful, consider your message, consider your medium, okay? Message and medium. Tailor your conversation to the audience. What do you think should I have said during that time when that man came over and, nudged me? What did you say after Mark? Nothing. I should this. So now
send to the source and walk off.
Yeah, so now I have a war story that's useless.
Or say like me, let me kiss you.
Oh man, you're even worse than me.
I don't know if that was time for a romance or not.
Is that the
Oh
one?
no, I know that. I've seen him do that. And he would do that.
I'm going to punch you right there.
To pick a fight, that's what Bobby does. He would say, why are you looking at me? You like me?
And you married me.
And at that point, I'm already preparing because I know there's going to be fallout. I'm already prepared. I'm right there cracking my knuckles quietly and stretching my arms because I know what's going to happen. We're going to get into the fight. But you know what? God is good. That didn't happen.
We're having a side conversation here. I guarantee you at the United States Post Office where I work, that if you go by some of them guys and blow them a kiss and whatnot, they're going to be waiting for you when you get off work.
Oh, he used to work at the post office.
Yeah, I know he did. I'm not saying to have a fight with you. I'm saying they're going to be waiting there going, hey, baby. What's up?
Taylor, your message.
Your message.
To the audience. Alright, tailor your conversation to the audience. So that takes us to 7 by next week. We should finish the 10th and then we will prepare for finals. Okay? And yeah.
Would you recommend, sir, that I was thinking maybe I should type this, my definition and whatnot, and then can I show it to you?
Yeah, for your reviewer, actually, for your reviewer.
Okay. Okay.
That way, it's easier to memorize the things that you crafted yourself, especially words.
Right.
Instead of, it's very hard, don't you notice? When you write something, you're able to remember them. When you read the Bible, because it's prose, because you use it, you're able to remember them. But can anybody quote me anything from, say, Edgar Allan Poe? Any Shakespeare? Any
To
Robert?
be or not to be?
Yeah,
That is the question.
To be or not to be? And I heard that so many times in Filipino. To be is to be. What else? Well, basically, we have these other things that we know. Ask not what you can do for your country. Well, not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. There are things that we use that we are more familiar with, and if you craft it, then more than likely it's a better thing for you. Alright? Okay, any questions? Lord, we thank you for this time and ask that you would bless us as we